Right now, something is moving through our solar system that does not belong here. It's not a planet. It's not an asteroid we lost track of. It's not one of ours. It's a frozen wanderer that has been drifting through the empty dark between stars for longer than our sun has existed. And in the summer of 2025, it crossed an invisible line and became for a little while a guest in our solar system. Scientists gave it a name that sounds almost bureaucratic for something this strange: 3I/Atlas. By the end of this video, you'll know why some astronomers think this might be the oldest object human eyes have ever seen move, and why it had no choice but to leave again, forever. On July 1st, 2025, a telescope in Rio Hurtado, Chile, part of a NASA-funded planetary defense network called ATLAS, short for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, first reported observations of a comet to the Minor Planet Center. At first glance, nothing about it screamed alien visitor. It looked like a comet. It moved like a comet. But then astronomers traced its path backward, and the orbit didn't make sense. Every object that's born in our solar system, every planet, every asteroid, every comet, follows a closed loop around the sun, an ellipse. It goes out, it comes back, forever, like a ball on a string. This thing's path wasn't a loop. It was a hyperbola, an open curve that doesn't close. Traced into the past, the comet's path clearly originated from outside our solar system entirely. In other words, this object was never ours. It came from somewhere else, passed through, and was always going to leave. It earned a new kind of name. The I doesn't stand for anything dramatic. It simply stands for interstellar, meaning it comes from outside our solar system. And the number 3 tells you something remarkable on its own. This is only the third interstellar object ever confirmed, following Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. 3 objects ever, in all of recorded astronomy. So, quick question for you while we're here. If something can drift between star systems for billions of years, how old do you think it actually is? Hold that thought. Here's where it gets genuinely hard to wrap your head around. Astronomers now estimate that 3I/Atlas could be up to 11 billion years old, more than twice the age of our own sun. Let that sit for a second. Our sun is about 4.6 billion years old. Earth is younger than that. Life on Earth is younger still. This comet may have formed before any of that existed, in a part of the galaxy astronomers describe as a cold, isolated corner of the Milky Way that hadn't even finished gelling into its own solar system yet. That means 3I/Atlas isn't just a visitor from another solar system. It might be a visitor from a solar system that doesn't exist anymore. A leftover. A message in a bottle thrown from a shore that's no longer there. So how do you even confirm something is that old? You can't ask it, but you can read its water. When scientists analyzed the ice boiling off the comet as it neared the sun, they found something they'd never seen before in any object that formed in our solar system: water with an unusual ratio of hydrogen isotopes, a chemical signature unlike anything native to our neighborhood. Think of it like a fingerprint. Every solar system bakes its water and ice slightly differently, depending on how far it was from its star and how it formed. The water in 3I/Atlas doesn't match our solar system's fingerprint. It matches somewhere else's. This is the closest thing astronomers have to physical, testable proof that we are looking at material from genuinely another star system. Not a theory, not a simulation. Actual atoms formed around another sun, now drifting past our own telescopes. And we didn't just look at it from Earth. We met it. Because 3I/Atlas happened to pass relatively close to several of our planets, NASA and ESA did something that's never been possible before with an interstellar object. They pointed an entire fleet of spacecraft at it. More than a dozen NASA science missions turned their instruments toward the comet. ESA's Mars Express and ExoMars Trace gas orbiter observed it during its closest approach to Mars on October 3rd, 2025, when it was about 29 million kilometers from the planet. Then, in a moment that sounds almost choreographed, 2 spacecraft, ESA's JUICE probe and NASA's Europa Clipper, ended up on opposite sides of the comet at the same time, allowing scientists to image both of its hemispheres simultaneously for the first time ever. In late November, X-ray telescopes even caught a faint X-ray glow around its nucleus, making 3I/Atlas the first interstellar comet ever observed in X-ray light. We didn't just see a smudge of light through a telescope. We surrounded it. We studied it from every angle physics would allow. And naturally, because anything strange and ancient drifting through space invites the question, scientists checked for one more thing. Here's the part that always comes up in the comments. Before I even finish uploading, could it be artificial? It's a fair question. Something billions of years old, moving in a straight line through our solar system. Science fiction has trained us to be suspicious. So the SETI Institute pointed the Allen telescope array at it for over 7 hours, scanning a huge range of radio frequencies for any sign of an artificial signal. The result? No technosignatures were detected. Every candidate signal traced back to ordinary terrestrial or satellite sources. Everything else we observed, its composition, its behavior, is consistent with a completely natural comet. No engines, no structure, no message. Just ice, dust, and 11 billion years of silence, which, if you ask me, is somehow more humbling than if it had been artificial. This isn't a spacecraft from another civilization. It's just a rock that's been falling through the dark since before our sun was a thought. 3I/Atlas was never going to stay. Its hyperbolic path means it has no orbit to return on. It will leave our solar system and never come back. At its closest, it never threatened Earth. It stayed roughly 170 million miles away, about 1.8 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. It briefly became one of the most photographed objects in the solar system. And then it kept moving, exactly as it always would have, exactly as it had been doing for billions of years before we ever saw it. We were never going to keep it. We just happened to be standing in the right place at the right moment in an 11 billion year journey to say hello. 3 interstellar objects confirmed in human history, all 3 found in the last decade, and researchers expect many more, now that survey telescopes built for exactly this purpose are coming fully online. Which raises the real question this video should leave you with. 3I/Atlas is the 3rd object we've caught. It almost certainly won't be the last. So, if something is out there decades or centuries from now on a trajectory that isn't a comet, what do you think we'll do differently now that we know how to look? Let me know in the comments. And if this kind of deep space detective story is your thing, subscribe, because the next one's already on its way in.